Good evening. Thank you for joining us for another virtual town hall. Today is Wednesday, May 27th. Before moving on to announcements, I want to recap on the number of cases. As of today, we are now at 33,439 cases in Ohio, with 98 cases here in Greene County. We've seen these numbers increase, and as expected, they have been increasing steadily, and a lot of that has to do with the number of tests that are available. I want to recognize some of the concerns that I've heard from residents. They've seen a lot of visitors in Yellow Springs, particularly over this weekend. There's a lot of news about folks, not just throughout the state, but throughout the country, just going to destinations and violating physical distancing rules and recommendations and not wearing a mask. I want our residents to know that we hear these concerns and we see some of these concerns in our community. However, I see that there are also a large number of folks that are following physical distancing recommendations. They're wearing masks. Not everyone's doing it, but I'm encouraged to see the number of individuals that are practicing this. And I think we're doing a great job to encourage folks to wear their masks, practice the protective measures. And I think with enough push, and if we continue pushing patience and kindness, we are going to start a movement here in Yellow Springs where people will do what is the right thing to do to protect themselves and to protect others. And I recognize all the concerns. I share some of those concerns as I walk out and I see folks that are too close and could care less about what others are doing. And I want folks to make the right decisions for them. And I wish that the right decision were to do all the things that they can to protect themselves and protect everyone around them. But we know it's challenging to have everyone share the same value system and share their opinions. And what I can do and what others here, my colleagues can do, we continue to drive that positive message that practicing these basic protective measures, they're common sense protective measures, and we just hope that folks will follow them, hope that people will make the right decisions. We continue to make that messaging. So I want you to know, if you're concerned, we hear you, we understand them, and we're doing what is within our means to encourage folks to do the right thing and wear their mask and wear all the protective measures. And we'll continue to do so. We're monitoring the situation where we have folks out in our community, the police department's out every day, and particularly on those busy days, and are encouraging folks to do what they can to provide a safer experience for everyone around them. And we will continue to monitor the situation, and if things get worse or things escalate, we would take additional actions. So we're sorting through all of that out, but I want you to know that we're thinking of you, and we're thinking of all your concerns, and we're working through all the things that we can. Tonight's a special night for many of our residents. It is the high school graduation day. So our Mayor Pam is going to get more into the details tonight about what is the plan for tonight. So stay tuned. The pool, you've heard a lot, sure you've heard that we've opening the pool. Pool scheduled to open June 5th. It will all operate under a much stricter model than it has in the past. Not only are we following the CDC recommendations and the Greene County public health recommendations, we're going a step beyond that. So we retrofitted the space to create shields for our employees and our customers. We are instituting a very strict schedule. The morning starts with a 1-hour lap swim at 11 a.m. and then we go into 2-hour rotations. Folks will be allowed to come in 2 hours at a time to swim, play in the pool, relax, do the things that they do in our facility, and then everyone will be asked to leave the facility so that we can properly sanitize and clean all the surfaces. And that 2-hour shift will continue until 8 p.m. In between all those schedules, we have a very strict rules about wearing masks in the facility. So everyone will be required to wear a mask inside the facility. They can't wear it in the water, but if they're out of the water, they'll be required to wear a mask. We will empower all of the employees to enforce the physical distancing guidelines. If we have offenders, they will be removed from the facility. And we'll do that not just for their own safety, but for the safety of everyone in the facility. That's our customers and our employees, our residents, and our visitors. So we're going above and beyond what is expected and required to open the pool. And we're doing that at a concern for everyone's safety. We want to provide a safer experience for everyone. I've got great news on our pool opening, other than we're opening on June 5th. We're one step closer to opening because on Tuesday, yesterday, we had our inspection by the county and we passed. And our inspector will come out with some frequency to make sure that everything's operating smoothly. And obviously, they will need to come out if there are any concerns raised by our residents. But be assured that we are not only following the recommendations, but we're looking to do more than the basics. And with that, I'll open the floor to my colleagues, Colin Altman, Fire Chief. Chief.
Thank you, Josue. Miami Township Fire Chief Colin Altman coming to you tonight live from the beautiful kitchen of Ina Garten, TV's Barefoot Contessa. I'm here tonight with William Shatner, international philanthropist Melinda Gates, British diver Tom Daley, former First Lady Laura Bush, and of course, WYSO General Manager Luke Dennis. And we are here this evening because we were here for a party to celebrate the first launch of Americans into space from America in what, a decade, 11 years. Unfortunately, it didn't go through, but it's going to happen because science, and it's going to happen. It'll be fantastic. So I was hoping that would be the great big news, good news today, but it will still be good. But other cool things that happened out there, who knew? In South Carolina today, 2 Good Samaritans stopped their pickup truck on a highway and collected $1,300 in cash that had blown away from an elderly woman and returned it to her. So there's a lot of good, cool stuff going on. Not even saying Yellow Springs High School graduation tonight, class of 2020, go Bulldogs. So a lot of good stuff happening. The pool's going to be opening for those who like to swim. That's an exciting time. And our restaurants are getting ready to open up. I spent some time today with the Winds, and I've been over at Sunrise and Calypso, and these people are doing some fantastic work getting ready for the return of diners into the restaurants. They all have their openings set over the next couple of weeks. They have worked with their plans, their floor plans, to get everything into compliance, to make sure everybody's safe, and they're ready to whip up some amazing food and drink for people who come on in. So get ready for that, because not all of you can be here in the kitchen of Ina Garten, TV's Barefoot Contessa, for a party for the space launch. But we do have to cut this quick because I got to get Mayor Pam on, because she's flying out to join us soon. Got a direct red eye from Dayton International to wherever we are, somewhere in the Hamptons, because you can't have a party without Mayor Pam. And with that, back to you, Josue.
Thank you, Chief. And also joining us is Karen Wintrow, Yellow Springs Chamber of Commerce President. Karen, welcome.
Thanks so much, Josue. And I have to start out, of course, by congratulating Yellow Springs High School class of 2020. I think this is going to be a memorable year, guys. You're going to have stories to tell, and I congratulate all of you. I especially want to give a shout out to Evelyn Potter. She is the winner of the Yellow Springs High School Scholarship this year. She had some great ideas for how she sees Yellow Springs changing and moving into the future. So we really congratulate Evelyn. The businesses, Colin mentioned, the restaurants starting to open. There are seats. Current does have their tables out on the sidewalk, so you can start to get a little bit of outdoor dining seating. I want to thank Colin for joining us today. I had a call with the restaurants and Greene County Public Health to go through the health department requirements for restaurants. And as it turns out, Colin's in the middle of all of it, because most of it really has to do with these separations and also barricades, potentially barriers, and also just separation of tables. So it's interesting that the restaurants actually don't have the same occupancy limitations that the retailers do. So folks are being creative. I know they're excited to open. Obviously, everybody's a little nervous. The retailers, most of them are open. A few are transitioning into opening in June. Most have positive reports. I mean, they really, sales this past weekend weren't great. And I think actually there was a lot of traffic in Yellow Springs, but potentially not as many shoppers as people just visiting. So we really need some local support. We really need those shops to continue. And to that end, we have a really exciting new program that's starting. It's called Uplift Yellow Springs. And it's a program that was put together by a group of merchants through the Yellow Springs Community Foundation. And it is a donation program to the businesses. So people can donate to a specific business. Part of the donations will go to a general fund to help Yellow Springs businesses, and part will go into the COVID fund at the Community Foundation. So it's important for folks to understand that our businesses and our downtown is in jeopardy. These folks have been shut down for 2 months. They haven't had any business in 2 months. Some have had some business, some have had modified operations, whether it be online sales. But it's very different. A huge factor this year is going to be the cancellation of street fair. We know that June is canceled. We're unclear on October, but street fair is a huge revenue producer, not only for the chamber. It's the chamber's #1 revenue source, but for the businesses and also for a lot of our nonprofits. So cancellation of street fair took a lot of outside money out of the economy of Yellow Springs. So it's really the website and the Facebook page for Uplift Yellow Springs will be launching in the next couple of days. It is up, the website's upliftyellowsprings.com. But if you're interested in learning a little bit more about it, you can actually go to the Community Foundation website and yscf.org and find a link in there. So invest in the future of downtown Yellow Springs, invest in these businesses, and invest in the future. I want to reiterate that the chamber is not actively advertising. We actually are going to be working with these folks to promote this particular program. We're not actively advertising. We're not actively attracting people to Yellow Springs. It's clear the businesses aren't necessarily ready for that, and it's clear that a lot of the residents aren't. We are pushing our Mask On campaign. We have signs. We'll have more signs going up, but that's what we're pushing and communicating. And I'm actually getting positive reports from the businesses. The businesses are saying that that a lot of their customers, if not most of their customers, if they require masks, they're wearing masks. But that there is a lot of compliance, and that folks they're not encountering angry people. So our visitors, our guests in town are understanding and working to comply with the rules that we have here. So I think that's about it. Just remember, support local and shop yellow. Thanks, Josue.
Thank you so much, Karen. And joining us tonight is Mayor Pam. Mayor, welcome.
Thank you very much, Josue. I appreciate that eloquent introduction. I am indeed Mayor Pam, and I am so excited. I just can't hide it. I am getting ready in exactly 1 hour. My bike is ready. My chair is ready. I got my mask ready, bulldog paraphernalia at the ready. And in 1 hour, I will be lining up along the parade route that is going to go from Yellow Springs High School, the caravan of students in cars, class of 2020, cars driven by parents, friends, siblings, family members, I'm sure, you know, the safe distancing. They are going to leave Yellow Springs parking lot, go down West Center College to Xenia Avenue, turn left at the light. There should be a map on your screen now that you're seeing. They will proceed through downtown, left on Corey Street in front of the post office, left again on Dayton Street, and then head straight out to Antioch University Midwest, where they will do their in a private graduation for this year. It involves a 45-foot video screen, which is why this event was very weather dependent. If there's any rain or if there's any wind, high winds, the contract by which they rented the screen says, no can do, and they would have had to have rescheduled. But the weather bug cooperated. She's reporting to me that 0% chance of rain. So you have got 1 hour when this is over, and it will be over soon, 1 hour to get your chair, just go out to the parade route. If you live along there, you live close, pick the closest street, wave, holler. As the kids go by, celebrate, right? Shout out to class of 2020. We're with you all the way. As Karen Wintro said, you will have stories to tell your children, your grandchildren, should you choose to have any. So with that in mind, I'm psyched. I hope you are too. I'll see you out on the parade route. Back to you, Josue.
Thank you, Mayor Pam. I'm so excited for all of our high schoolers and families. It's an exciting time. There's certainly going to be a memorable graduation for all of our high schoolers. All right, we will now open up for questions. And I see that we have our first question for tonight. What steps is the village taking to address safety issues in the Glen now while it is closed, and also to secure the future as a valued local resource? First part of the question, what are the steps we're taking to address the safety issues? As you know, we have a practice in our village to have a light touch when it comes to law enforcement. Given the recent issues and incidents in the Glen, we're gonna move to a stricter enforcement model. It's unfortunate, but if needed, we're gonna start issuing citations for criminal trespassing. I think the incidents that have occurred over the last week indicates that we must do something more than simply escorting people out of the Glen. And this is for the safety of everyone. So we'll do more stricter enforcement of the Glen. Police chief is not available to join us tonight, and if he were, he can talk about more specific details, what it means. But we know the entry points. We know where some of the repeat offenders congregate and what are the things that they do in the Glen. We will increase our enforcement. So I encourage you, if you know folks that routinely visit the Glen and doing things that they shouldn't be doing, advise them. If they're your kids, advise them that we are going to step up our enforcement of the Glen. And this is to ensure that we do not have more drownings, high drug use, and some of the overdose that we're seeing. So we want to prevent those things. So we're going to do more enforcement. All right. On the second part of the question, what are we doing to secure the future as a valued local resource? We are aware of the effort of the Glen Helen Association. What are they looking to do to acquire the Glen? I'm not part of that conversation yet. And so I can't speak on what we're doing as administration or what council is doing to secure this local asset, but we are aware of conversations going on. We're not privy to the details of those conversations, but if an opportunity arises where we're involved, we're certainly look to push for the interest of our residents in our community. So thank you for that question. I encourage you to tune in or send additional inquiries to either myself or council, so we can have the conversation, the dialogue around the Glen. All right, second question. I support lap swim, but do not understand why the village is opening the pool for non-residents and allowing 125 people at a time. Why are we opening the pool when children are the primary guests? Okay, I'll attempt to answer the first part of the question. Thank you for your support of the adult lap swim and the effort that we're doing on opening the pool. The opening the pool for everyone, I think it's we have a lot of not just residents but township and individuals from outside of Yellow Springs that also rely on the pool for their ability to get their exercise, to be physically and mentally healthy. So we don't want to exclude folks that this is their only resource. So that's the short answer. There's also an economic answer. The pool, as you know, for many years has run at a loss. So having the visitors help contribute to maintaining the pool, and it contributes revenue, and that's much needed revenue to operate the pool. So that's been the practice, and it is an important aspect of how we operate the pool. As for allowing 25 people at a time, Fire Chief Colin has joined us tonight, and he can talk about his methodology on how we've calculated the occupancy. This was a collaboration with the fire department. Chief, are you able to speak about your methodology on the 125 occupancy limit for the pool?
Certainly. Yeah, I was just talking to Ina Garten. Sorry about that. Basically what we did, it's just a standard fire code calculation. We took the square footage that is inhabitable by people that they can stand on. And you divide it by a predetermined factor that's in the fire code. And then whatever that is, we took it by half and actually reduced it a little bit more in accordance with state guidance. And that's how we came with the 120 or 125. I can't remember the exact number, which is down substantially because normally the pool can actually, and this is the pool deck area in the grass, under fire code could hold probably 400 plus people. So that's the methodology. That was what was recommended by the state, by ODH, and that's what we utilize. So math, which I'm not normally good at, but this time it actually worked. Josue checked my numbers. So
thank you, Chief. And we had our own suspicion of that number were, and our numbers align, but you have ultimate reign in that area. So we'll defer to your opinion on it. Okay, we have a follow-up question. How can you share more about how social distancing will be enforced at the pool? For example, will there be adult employees or officers who will back up the lifeguards who are typically teens? Yes, when I said we're going to empower our employees, we are going to encourage them and expect that they're going to blow their whistles and tell the participants that they must practice physical distancing. Now we understand that there are family units that are coming together, and that might not be as obvious. So there's some gray area, but in every opportunity that our employees can, they will enforce the physical distancing. And if folks are not adhering to the rules, they will be kicked out of the facilities. And we hope that we don't have to ban individuals or ban repeat offenders, but we are willing to do so if it means to. If it is necessary for us to ensure a safer work experience, we will ban participants. Our officers are also part of the enforcement mechanism. We do not want to put our employees at risk to engage with participants and get in any physical altercations or any conflict. So officers will be ready and available to provide backup to our employees at the pool. So we've got a process that we figured out, and we're going to adhere to ensure that we have compliance and we have the right enforcement mechanisms for not just the physical distancing, but all the other rules in the pool. That'll be the wearing the mask and asking folks to carry out their own trash. We're putting a lot of recommendations in place. One of them is, if folks can avoid using the bathrooms, we're encouraging that. The high touch areas, that's where the higher risk elements are. So if folks can come in with the swimsuits and be able to jump in the pool, that's great. Also, we encourage folks to minimize their contact in the changing rooms and the bathrooms. Now, where those bathrooms are open and there will be sanitized as much as we can, and we've got a schedule for that. But it's one of the recommendations from the CDC and the general recommendation if folks can minimize their interaction with those high risk, high touch areas, high surface contact areas. I believe that answers the question. All right, we have another question. The jail population was down, but it's going up again. Are police issuing citations instead of making arrests to keep people out of jail to protect all of us from a flare-up of the virus in our county? I think the short answer in this, and I wish Chief would be here because he would have a more eloquent answer, but the short answer is officers have to do what they do. And there are certain enforcement actions that require the arrest of individuals. But our police, they look for light touch opportunities. They look for the opportunity to have a positive impact on the individual that they're encountering. And we will continue to do that. But there are times where it will be necessary for them to do an arrest and do what they need to do. So that's what I can say to this question. And as you know, we encourage every citation that can come to mayor's court. We make every effort to send those issues, those citations to mayor's court. The mayor's joining us tonight, and she can attest that all those citations are reviewed on a monthly basis. And if there is if we miss one case that could have gone to mayor's court, we talk about it and we put in the procedures in place to ensure that it doesn't happen. But want to reassure you that whatever can be cited and be brought to mayor's court, we try to do that. Mayor, is there anything you would like to add to that?
Yes, just to let the public know, as you just mentioned, Josue, every month the clerk of court sits down with usually Sergeant Watson, one of the sergeants, and reviews all of the cases, the incidents, and the individual cases that have come before the police, all the citations. And we specifically look for the ones that could have come to mayor's court and didn't. And I'm very pleased to say that at this point in time, for the last several months, we have been batting 1,000. There have been no cases that have bypassed mayor's court when they could have and should have come to mayor's court that I could legally see. Now, there are some cases that cannot be seen in a mayor's court. For example, crimes of violence, anything involving juveniles, that goes straight to juvenile court. OVIs, we choose to see, I could see them, but we choose to send them to Xenia because sometimes the defendants can receive more help and interventions that they might need should they go through the municipal court system. So I'm very pleased with the efforts of both the police department and the mayor's staff in meeting and the folks who work so hard on the task force too, the Justice System Task Force, to make this become a transparent process. These statistics, numbers, charts are available in the monthly council packet that Clerk Judy Kintner prepares, and anyone can get that information, pull it up and take a look if you would like. Mayor's Court reopened on Tuesday of this week. We had 5 cases. One person at a time was brought into the courtroom, AKA the council chamber. They stood behind a designated line a good distance away. Everyone was masked and it went very smoothly. Thank you, Josue.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, we received a statement. Some towns are enforcing spacing by LEOs using their speakers or getting out of their actual vehicle. Please take our concerns seriously. Sidewalks are too crowded. On the pools, we're also marking areas on the grass and the deck to create zones where folks can hang out. If they're coming as a family unit, then they can hang out in these zones. We've gone back and forth on some designs, whether they're circles or squares. I think ultimately they're going to end up being square because folks don't have round blankets, they have square blankets. And so we think it fits just right into how folks use the physical space. So we're implementing some of those processes or procedures to identify areas where folks could hang out in the pool. We have a follow-up question on the pool. Is the pool increasing staff? There's no way that the usual staff of largely teens can do it all. Yes, we are increasing staff. We would also not only have additional staff on site, but we'll have gate attendants at the pool. So in addition to the lifeguard and the other support staff, we'll have individuals that will be placed at the entrance of the pool to help with crowd control and enforcing the rules and also cleaning the environment. So it's not just the rules and not just relying on the individual we typically have, but we're adding more staff. All right, another question. 193 people have signed a petition to not open the pool as proposed. Why isn't the council listening to its residents? Why are we exposing our downtown residents and shopkeepers to unmasked individuals? I am aware of the petition on change.org. I have not received any formal communication on the petition, on its sponsors and the individual sign. If I do receive that information by end of this week, I'll make sure that it is in the packet for council to discuss the matter. I encourage you, if this question or statement came from the organizers, I encourage you to submit a formal of that petition or formal petition to council so that council may properly give it the needed attention and have the discussion at council meeting. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for the questions. Do my colleagues want to say any parting words? It's a big night tonight. I'm really excited for our seniors. And congratulations to the seniors and their families. It's must have been tough 2 months to get through, but you're here, and that's what matters. You'll have a whole new road ahead of you to get through.
And lots of stories to tell.
Lots of stories, yes.
All right, we'll see you out on the parade route here in exactly 45 minutes.
45 minutes. I'm going to be out there on
Plenty of time.
College. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. With that, we want to say good night. Remember, we're here to assist. See us as a resource. Feel free to reach out to us at any time. Have a wonderful night, and congratulations to our graduating seniors and their families. Good night.